Tonight, the office of the leader of the opposition is broken into and vandalized. An NFL PSA on the murder of Botham Jean will be aired to millions during the Super Bowl. And Sarah Flood Bobra describes the U.S. Caribbean meeting as a welcomed opportunity in the face of criticism about her attendance. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. It is Thursday, the 23rd of January, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on Kiss FM Radio. You can watch via our website, www.caribbeanhottv.com, or on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The inner sanctuary of the leader of the opposition has been desecrated. Many of the facts remain unknown regarding the apparent break-in at the office. Our camera crew captured the entrance of the opposition leader as he made his way to his vandalized office.
I am standing at the entrance of the leader of the opposition's office, where the Hot 7 team has been informed that there was a break-in and entering. Currently, the police are investigating the matter. Media personnel were restricted from entering into the ransacked office of the leader of the opposition on Thursday, 23rd January, as law enforcement processed the crime scene. Opposition leader Philip J. Pierre, in making his way to the office, was questioned by media. He says he received the disturbing news via a telephone call from his secretary.
Well, I was at home and I got called by the secretary saying that there was a break-in. I haven't been up there because I was on the radio station, so I'm not sure, but I understand it's not a pretty sight.
Okay, well, I spoke to your secretary, who said that you have insisted on security measures. You've spoken to Parliament on numerous occasions for security measures to be implemented, at least cameras. Can you tell us more about that?
But you see, it's not the first time that we've had issues in that area. It's not the first time in that building. And it would have been nice if we had a security camera. We haven't. There's one just next door. You look, you see one just next door. And that building, a lot of it was there long before the one next door. But I guess the answer to the question will be, you were there and you didn't do it. But I'm very happy. Nothing happened to the staff members. Their safety is of utmost importance. I'm happy. And the police are there, so we hope we find the person.
Any concern that it might be political mischief at play?
I don't want to speculate. I don't know, but we are in a season where anything can happen.
Pierre goes on to highlight the growing security concerns experienced by members of society. He drives home the point that if this could happen at the office of the leader of the opposition, then it can happen anywhere.
It shows that we have to deal with that issue, but today the victim is the officer of the opposition. Some of the time it will be someone else. So the whole system, the whole crime problem has come to the fore.
Pierre says he will not speak on whether the office should have surveillance or not.
There ought to be an established protocol for all offices. This is not my office, this is a government office. So I'm not going to play the blame game. I'm going to say that they ought to have a protocol for all government buildings.
Information was not forthcoming as to whether any belongings were taken from the office of the leader of the opposition. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
A 2-minute PSA honoring the life of Botham Jean was released by the NFL on Wednesday ahead of the Super Bowl. The Jean PSA is the third to come out of the Responsibility Program, an initiative created by the NFL and Jay-Z's Rock Nation in 2019. The purpose of the initiative is to educate others and create awareness about social justice issues through video. Let's take a look.
Botham is my son. He is an active child. He is the light in any dark room.
Botham is my little brother. He is the kindest, sweetest person you could ever know. He is funny. If my mom and I have a disagreement, we would stop. Let's call Botham. Let's see what he says.
He just loved people. He was very particular of the company he kept. So I felt that he was not in harm's way.
Botham was in his apartment watching football, eating ice cream, and the officer came in and killed him.
To know Botham was to love Botham. The world has lost a great man. He was destined for greatness.
Botham was everything to us. I just cannot do without him being here. I look forward to the day Botham would have gotten married, having kids. Life is not sweet anymore.
Yeah, what I hope to see happening is that our black boys are not seen as a threat.
The color of my skin can be perceived as a weapon, and it's not.
What has happened to Botham should not happen to another family.
I started the Botham Jean Foundation. We have to continue where Botham started and just keep his legacy going for years and years to come.
Why should there be hatred for each other? My young son demonstrated forgiveness. Brent, forgive one who just killed his brother.
There are things that must be done and must be done quickly. We must change this all around.
The PSA will be broadcast to millions during the Super Bowl on the 2nd of February. Police have confirmed the identity of a man who perished in an accident at Prale on Wednesday. He is 37-year-old Bert Williams of Denier Riviere, Dennery. He succumbed to injuries sustained in the crash on Wednesday. Police sources say he lost control of his bike and ran into the back of a parked truck. He was transported to the St. Jude Hospital and then admitted to the intensive care unit in critical condition. He was later pronounced dead by a medical doctor. This week, the Traffic Department appealed for due caution while commuting. Acting Corporal Frazier of the Traffic Department says drivers are simply too hasty when traversing the highways.
A lot of drivers are in a haste to get from one point to the other. They may not be using the signals properly, or they tend to drive over the speed limit. We've noticed that a lot, especially on the highways, within the Bexar and Grosley Highway area. A lot of drivers tend to exceed the limit. We implore drivers, to adhere to the rules of the road, to slow down, use your indicators, and these things would greatly assist the motoring public and cause less accidents on the road.
Minister with responsibility for external affairs Sarah Flood Bobra has reported that the meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo was a welcome opportunity to engage with the U.S. administration on a series of initiatives important to the government and people of St. Lucia. At the Wednesday morning meeting, which she attended along with other invited foreign ministers, the U.S. Secretary of State commented that his trip to the region was overdue and that the United States continues to be committed to initiatives that seek to strengthen ties on issues such as security and development. Minister Flood Bobra focused some of her remarks on the need for more programming in community development, drawing reference to USAID's Community, Family and Youth Resilience Program currently underway in St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Guyana. The minister advocated for the expansion of this program and for best practices from it to be embraced throughout the region. Banking and blacklisting and the issue of reputational damage that countries in the Caribbean were facing were also mentioned, as was the impact of graduation of countries to more developed status. In a bilateral meeting, the minister asked for Secretary Pompeo's support for programming being discussed with the U.S. in a variety of areas, including border security, education, and support for the country's financial intelligence agency. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State defended the meeting with the select group of Caribbean foreign ministers, insisting that the United States has no intention of trying to divide the 15-member CARICOM grouping. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, meet the 9 contestants of this year's Miss Independence pageant. Hear how Invest St. Lucia intends to capitalize on the booming tourism sector. And Juliana Evans is 100 not out. We take in the special presentation to the centenarian in Soufrière. That and more after the break.